Happy Monday, people. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a wonderful start to a wonderful new week. First things first, man, we got to congratulate the OKC Thunder for winning that championship last night. The entire organization, their head coach, their MVP of both regular season and the NBA Finals. And they were able to do it in Game 7 on their home court. I mean, you could not have written a better ending to a story. So OKC deserves it, man. I tip my hat to them. Congratulations. I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate Indiana Pacers for the simple fact of the matter that they stood on business throughout this entire playoffs. They made a name for themselves. They shocked a lot of people. And they've also put themselves on notice to let other organizations know that they're not no joke. Unfortunately, that injury to Tyrese Halliburton in the first quarter, it couldn't have happened at a worse time. And I'll be one of those individuals to let you know, man, no word of a lie, like I really felt it for him, for the simple fact of the matter that every single player, despite what the so-called king might say, every single player plays to be in that particular moment. And to know that he was unable to really take part in any of it last year because of the mere fact of the matter that he was injured also last year. To be able to have the type of season that you had this year, to be able to have the type of finals that you had this year, to make it as far as you did all the way to Game 7 and have that happen to you in Game 7, that's kind of heart-wrenching. You got to feel it. You got to feel it for him. As a fellow athlete, as somebody who enjoys sports or whatever the case may be, you have to feel that for Tyrese Halliburton. And if you guys had the opportunity to watch the instant replay, you actually saw that Achilles heel pop. It wasn't a pretty thing, man. It was not a pretty thing at all. So, I mean, congratulations goes out to those Indiana Pacers, man. I think that they may be just one or two players away from representing the Eastern Conference once again. But one of the most important things that took place yesterday was Kevin Durant getting traded to the Houston Rockets. And I don't know if anybody out there knows how much of a big deal this is, but let me be one of the individuals to tell you. I'm not a big fan favorite of Kevin Durant for the mere fact of the matter that he seems to be one of those individuals that seem to hop from team to team to team. So for that reason, I respect his game to the max, but I'm not really a fan favorite of his. All that to say, I personally believe this is the best position he could ask to be in right now. On the Houston Rockets, a young up-and-coming team with a lot of great talent on that squad. And the only thing that team was missing was somebody on the wing that could consistently hit a shot. And now you got that guy. You see, Houston was trying to develop the dude Green, because he seems to be a very talented individual. He is very talented. His only problem is he's very inconsistent. If you ask me my personal opinion, that's to be expected from a young player. I personally think Houston gave up on him a little bit too soon. But then again, if you have a chance to acquire a talent like a Kevin Durant, you're gonna do what you got to do. And from my understanding, Kevin Durant really wanted to play for Ime, the coach for the Houston Rockets. I'm not gonna bite my tongue trying to say it. Lil Hoopers, how are you? Yeah, I'm not going to be one to try and bite my tongue trying to pronounce his name, so we're just going to call him the Houston Rockets coach. Kevin Durant wanted to play for this individual. Remember, after he got let go of Boston for all that nonsense or whatever the case may be, one of the teams that apparently that was interested in hiring him were the Brooklyn Nets. Kevin Durant, James Harden, they played for the Brooklyn Nets at that time. Kevin Durant has wanted to play for the Houston Rockets coach for a little while now. Allegedly, apparently, there was also something in the works where Boston Celtics almost acquired Kevin Durant. That's right. So all that to say, Kevin Durant finally got the coach that he wants to play for. Kevin Durant, regardless of how spoiled we might think he is, you do have to admit that he is a high-class talent. He's one of the best individual talents in the NBA. So for him to blend in with what they have going on in Houston, I'm telling you, no word of a lie, Houston might be battling OKC Thunder next season, in my humble personal opinion. Now, a lot of people are out here saying that, okay, what happens if, do I like Kobe? Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Kobe. I wasn't a big fan of Kobe Bryant's back in the playing day because for a lot of different reasons. But in terms of his game, if you're an individual that likes basketball, you have no choice but to respect Kobe Bryant's game. Plain and simple. And the older Kobe Bryant, I was becoming a fan of. Just a little bit before he retired, I was becoming a little bit of a fan of. Because I just consider Kobe Bryant to be a little bit of a selfish player. And the reason why I consider him to be a selfish player is in the NBA, any player that's going to score 80-something points is not really passing the ball to anybody else. He's taking every single shot available. That may look half decent if you're playing in the rec or in the YMCA or something like that. But when you're getting paid to play in an NBA, it just left a bad, and the main reason why I left a bad taste in my mouth was because it happened to my team. You understand what I'm saying? It happened to the Toronto Raptors, so I was not a happy individual. Little hoppers, I say hi right back. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it says something that you subscribed. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for the support. Please let me know. Did you watch that game last night? And if you did the team that you wanted to win actually win? I have a funny feeling you're going to say yes, because, I mean, hey, a lot of people were supporting the OKC Thunder. I don't blame them. Yes, OKC won, you see? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, though, man. OKC, yeah, they deserve to win. They were absolutely impressive. If Halliburton didn't get hurt. Exactly. Listen, in my personal humble opinion, if Halliburton didn't get hurt, yes, I do. There's that big possibility that OKC would have still won, but that game would have been a hell of a lot closer. I mean, what did OKC win by? 12 or 15 points? Now, we do know that Tyrese Halliburton it's more likely that he will put 10, 12, 15 points on a board. Yes? The only thing that I'm worried about is that because of the mere fact of the matter that it's his Achilles, that's going to set the Indiana Pacers back at least one full season, because he won't be ready for next season. I doubt it. I don't think he'll be ready to go next season at all. So Indiana might have to acquire another legitimate point guard to kind of keep everything together until he can come back. if they plan on trying to really, have a shadow of the season that they had this season. Yeah, he'll definitely be out for at least next season, because of the mere fact of the matter that happened in Game 7, the final game of the season. He won't be ready to go next season at all. Yeah, he's got to get the surgery, then he's got to go do all that rehab, all that type of stuff. So, and hats off to TJ McCall. I mean, he did everything he could possibly do to try and keep the Indiana Pacers in the game. But once Haliburton went down, now you're asking him to play more minutes. And we saw what happened when he played more minutes. He had something like 7 turnovers. Like when people fit a certain role and then you take them out of that role and ask them to do something different, unfortunately, there's a lot of times that could be just a hit and miss. But I mean, no word of a lie, without him, they might not have been in a lot of those games, in my humble opinion. And I take a lot of pride in this particular series for the simple fact of the matter that technically speaking, I called every single game in this series correct. I had said that they were going to leave OKC tied 1-1. I said that that when they went to Indiana, after those 2 games played in Indiana, this series would be tied 2-2. And my exact words, don't be shy. I mean, don't take my word for it. Go back and watch some of my previous videos. I said, whatever team wins game number 5 is going to win the whole thing. Even though I was back in Indiana. But I put it on record. I left it right out there and I said whoever won game number 5 was going to win this entire series. That was this guy right here. And, you might have a few people out there saying, oh, yeah, this guy, don't listen to this guy because he picked the Indiana Pacers. Yeah, I did pick the Pacers. Oh, your friend put his money on the Pacers also? Yeah, I lost a little bit of change on the Pacers. I'm not going to lie. I did. I put a little bit of money on the Pacers too. So right now, me and your friend are sharing the same pain. I understand what he's feeling. But it wasn't a bad pick. It really was not a bad pick. And the way in which Indiana started that game off last night with Haliburton in the lineup. Is it safe enough to say? And you chose the Pacers. Is it safe enough to say the way Haliburton started that game that he was coming to do some damage? In the first, I mean, listen, if I'm not mistaken, he got injured 7 minutes into the game. But he hit 2 or 3 3-point shots before he got injured. That was a guy that was fully invested in this game. And it was going to take a lot to beat him. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, no word of a lie. And then on top of that, the Indiana Pacers, after he got injured, went into the halftime with a 1-point lead. So yeah, I still had faith because I thought that they were actually really going to try and rally and win that game for Haliburton. I really thought so. Yeah, he really, really wanted to win. He really did. And between me and you, I'll be honest with you, man. No word of a lie. Because of the fact of the matter that out here in Montreal, we don't really get a lot of Indiana games, you know, unless they're playing. And At the end, I don't watch a lot of Indiana Pacer games. I watch highlights, but I don't watch a lot of their games. So I never really knew that Tyrese Halliburton was that talented. The one chance that I did have to watch him play a little bit was in the Olympics, and he didn't play that much. So I had no idea. I mean, I always heard, I heard a lot about him. You hear the media talk about him and all that kind of stuff, but I'm an individual. Unless it passed my eye test, I'm not really listening to all that noise. So for me to actually watch him play in this playoffs and see exactly what kind of cold ice he has running through his veins, because did he not hit minimum 3 game-winning shots in these playoffs? Now, people make a big deal if somebody hits 1 game-winning shot in a series or a playoff run. He did it 3 different times. That let me know that, yeah, he is a little bit of that guy. Yeah. Yes, 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 indeed. Well, the thing of the matter is, like no word of a lie. You see this finals right here? This has lit that fire back into me. He's clutch. He really is clutch. Yes, most definitely, man. He does have a little bit of that it factor. For somebody that had no idea that he was really that good of a player, I'm telling you, man, it's like, whoa. So unfortunately, they're going to be missing him next season. That's a big void they're going to have to try and fill. A gigantic void they're going to have to try and fill. I mean, right off the top of my head, if there's a way you guys, if there's a way that the Indiana Pacers could acquire one of the Ball brothers, especially that one that was playing out in Charlotte, if you could get him, yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. And if they can, somebody that would be very, very nice is the Ball brother, the younger brother. I think his name is LaMelo. If they could get him, I mean, he would be an exciting player to watch until Tyrese Halliburton could come back. Just think about him on that whole Indiana Pacers team. Because, yeah, he's basically, he's a lot like the same type of player. He has a really weird set shot, but he hits it more times than not. He's an amazing passer. I think he would be the perfect fit. You know what? No, is it not the older brother, the one that the Lakers drafted? He's the one that gets injured a lot, no? I might be wrong though. I might be wrong. I know the older brother, he's been out for a while with a knee injury. The younger brother gets injured a lot too? That's too bad. Okay, it's LaMelo. Okay, got you. Okay. That's too bad because he is a very talented player. I mean, his game is some parts of his game is a little bit hard to watch because it's not exactly the prettiest thing in the world, but it's effective. That jump shot, him and Halliburton have probably 2 of the ugliest jump shots I've seen in a long time in the NBA. But you know what? If you're hitting it more times than not, bring on the ugliness. I'll take it. I will definitely take it. Yeah, I'm going to miss the NBA. I'm not telling no word of a lie. They've after those finals, I'm ready. I'm ready for next season tomorrow. Yes, sir, Bob. I'm ready to see exactly how good the Houston Rockets are going to look. Indeed. Yes, sir, Bob. And I do believe now, with the mere fact of the matter that we had the MVP of the league and the same MVP of the finals, would you not agree that it's roughly around that time that we have the changing of the guards? We have some new faces of the league. I wish LeBron would retire today. But he won't. The numbers legacy is probably one of the most important things to LeBron James. But I could tell, little hoppers, you're a LeBron James fan. I could tell. I could tell. And there's nothing wrong with that, honestly speaking. Age is just a number. You're right, age is just a number when it comes to everyday life. But when it comes to professional sport, especially a sport like basketball, I mean, 38-year-old playing basketball is the equivalent of a 70-year-old walking in society as far as I'm concerned. Depending on how many years you played in the league, but the toll that it takes on your body. You see, so that's why LeBron James, technically speaking, should not be able to do half of the things that he's doing at his age right now. Now, you know, you have a lot of people that are out there with speculations of this and that. Hey, I can't speculate anything. You understand? I don't know him like that. I don't know about his personal life like that. All I know is that 90% of 40-year-olds cannot and should not be able to do the things that LeBron James is doing at a professional level, in my humble opinion. He is good at the stuff he does, yes. I just don't think that. You gotta understand. I come from the Michael Jordan era, where I was able to watch Michael Jordan age gracefully in the game. And when I say age gracefully, meaning he went from a person that was flying out of the gym and dunking on every single individual to getting to a certain time in his life where he was unable to do those things, and he was able to go to the fundamentals. I've heard NBA players say that Michael Jordan was a better all-around basketball player when he played for the Washington Wizards than when he played for the Chicago Bulls. Now, all I can do is either agree or disagree with that statement. But these were his peers. These were individuals that played against him that are saying this stuff. So you can't take it too lightly. And the reason why they say that is because he was unable to be dunking over people the way he did. He was worse on the Wizards. I mean, check a clip that DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan spoke about it and said that he feels Michael Jordan was better in his 40s than he was when he was with the Chicago Bulls in terms of his own individual game. He had more of a bag, so to speak. I'm telling you, man. If you can, take a look at it on social media. See if you can find that interview that DeMar DeRozan was speaking about Michael Jordan at the age of 40. It shocked me. As a matter of fact, that was the first time I'd heard somebody say, and then when you start going into it, you start to hear a couple of other players share the exact same opinion. Get back to me and let me know. When you watch that entire interview, let me know what you think about it. Because I'm telling you, it blew my mind. Where I end up having to go back and watch a few Washington Wizard games that Jordan did play in just to see if maybe I missed something. Because you're talking to a dedicated Jordan fan. But I really didn't pay too much attention to him when he was with the Washington Wizards. Because at that time, you know, all your glory days were behind you. Yeah. All of his glory days were behind him. So I was just supporting him because, hey, there you go. You see, I'm not lying. He did say it. Now, if it was just a random person that was saying that on the street, I would say, "Oh, you're talking a lot of garbage." But when you're hearing other talented players say something like that, you gotta pay attention to it. Thank you. Thank you. And remember, he's talking about the Michael Jordan that won 6 championship rings. That's the part that you understand where I can't connect the dots. You're talking about a Michael Jordan that won 3 rings, retired, came back and won 3 more. And you're trying to tell me the Washington Wizard version of him was better than those 2 guys? I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess we would just have to agree to disagree right now. Because, like I said, what I have in my mind is everything that this man did for the Chicago Bulls. Everything. From the time he came into the league, the bumps and bruises he had to take. No, I didn't. I wish I did. Unfortunately, no. But Toronto Raptors, that's my favorite team. Yes, sirree, Bob. That's my squad right there, man. Love the Raptors. Yeah. Yeah, that's my squad. All right. We got something in common, man. Love those Raptors. You know, people like to talk about, oh, yeah, Toronto won a fluky championship. You can say what the hell you want. Because you know how many organizations that have been in the league since the beginning of time can't even say they've been to a championship game, much less won a championship? So the Toronto Raptors, they have one. They may never win another one, but the one that they have, nobody could ever take away. Plain and simple. And I was one of those individuals that had a lot of negative things to say when they traded DeMar DeRozan for Kawhi Leonard. Reason being because of the mere fact of the matter that DeMar DeRozan was one of the first superstars that Toronto Raptors had playing for them that wanted to remain a Toronto Raptors. Remember, we had Vince Carter. We had Tracy McGrady. We had Chris Bosh. DeMar DeRozan was the only star that I heard him say out of his own mouth that he would like to retire a Toronto Raptor. So when they traded him, I wasn't happy. But obviously, I'm just a fan. Because the GMs, they get paid the big bucks to make the major league decisions. And obviously, we saw what happened after that trade. You got to understand, man. My Toronto Raptors, I mean, JV, Valanciunas, that was my guy. A lot of people didn't have a lot to say. But in the Toronto Raptors system, he fit perfectly. The only person that could tell me any different is the man upstairs, because there was, if I'm not mistaken, the season before DeMar DeRozan got traded. I believe it was the season before, but if it wasn't the season before, it was 2 seasons before. We're in the playoffs, the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Toronto Raptors were matched up against the Cleveland Cavaliers. LeBron James played on that team. And let me tell you something. Toronto was giving them the business. Why? Because Cleveland had no answer for JV. They could not stop him down low. And he ended up spraining his ankle that series. And that's when Toronto brought Cleveland to Game 7. And Cleveland ended up winning Game 7 in Toronto. Remember, LeBron James was doing the interview after the Toronto Raptors lost, but none of the fans left. And he was standing up there saying, yeah, listen to this crowd. The Cleveland Cavaliers got out of that series by the skin of their boots. Because if JV was healthy for that entire 7-game series, Cleveland would have never beat them. In my humble opinion. I'm telling you. And if there's anybody out there that doesn't believe what I'm saying, please go back and watch that entire series that I'm talking about. The series that JV got hurt. And we had we acquired I can't remember his name right now. We acquired another African gentleman that had to end up playing in place of JV, because he came in and relieved JV, because JV was our starter at that time. He came off of the bench, so they were a good 1-2 tando. But once again, it worked out in one of those situations where JV got hurt, so we had to move him into the starting position. Kind of messed up a little bit of chemistry. And like I said, we went all the way to Game 7. No, it wasn't Pascal Siakam. This was before Pascal Siakam. This was before them. There's Serge Ibaka, not Ibaka though. There was another gentleman before Ibaka. I'm gonna have to look it up and find his name, and I'll get back to you on that. I mean, I believe he's still playing now, but he comes off of the bench. I saw him. I think I saw him play for Phoenix, if I'm not mistaken, coming off the bench. Can see his face and everything right now, but I just can't remember his name. But that was the year that we were supposed to get over that hump. If JV could have stayed healthy, because he was the X factor. A lot of teams had problems with our Toronto Raptors because we had a man in the middle that played the center position the way we needed him to play it. Not to mention, if you fouled him, you went to the free throw and hit his free throws. No, it wasn't Bridges. We had Serge Ibaka, and we had it's a name kind of similar to an Ibaka, but I know who Serge Ibaka is. He's because we won the championship with him. This gentleman was there before Serge Ibaka came onto the squad. Yeah. I'm going to look into it and I'm going to get back to you, man. Check out my page later on. I'm probably going to put the name on my page. Now that the NBA is over, now we just got to get ready for the draft. I mean, Dallas has a #1 pick, and a lot of people are presuming they're going to pick what's his name? Cooper Flag? Cooper Flag's not bad. In terms of his Kyrie Irving, in terms of his ball handling and everything, he's already a GOAT. Kyrie Irving is, in my personal opinion, one of the best one-on-one basketball players I've ever seen. And I don't think that there's anybody in today's game. Well, maybe now because he's a little bit older, but prime Kyrie Irving, I don't think there's any individual that could guard him one-on-one. You want to talk about a bag? You want to talk about a bag? Oh my goodness, man. So for an individual like LeBron James to say that, bags aren't that important, you're trying to take away from the game. Cooper Flag, I got to watch him play. Very good talent. Yeah, Kyrie got a bag, baby. Kyrie got a deep bag. Deep, deep. If you watch the way Kyrie Irving plays, he does stuff on the court that you're not supposed to be doing as a basketball player. He's crossing people up and putting layups up and taking off of the wrong foot and still hitting that crap. Now, how do you guard that? How does anybody guard that? Dirty. The reason why Cleveland won the championship that they won, it was not because of LeBron James, it was because of Kyrie Irving. Do you understand what I'm saying? Steph Curry could not contain that. Just saying. No. No. Anthony, are you kidding? Anthony Davis? Although Anthony Davis is one of the better big men that could come out and switch on a guard and give them hell. Why? Because before he had his growth spurt, he was a guard. So he knows everything everything guards have to offer. It's just that, at times your length could be a handicap. When I played ball, I hated getting switched out on a guard. I couldn't stand it. Why? Because I'm not at a party. I don't feel like dancing. And then they're just gonna do all of that, and the majority of the time they're gonna step back and hit a jig. I hated that. Come down here in the paint. Come down here in the paint where, Yeah, I like playing defense too. I liked it, but like I said, I hated getting switched off on a guard because you're on an island, and it could go one of two ways. And a lot of times, those little guards would find a way to make those the bigger guys look a little ridiculous. Like you're on skates and stuff like that. So it was, I was never really a fan favorite of getting switched off on a guard. But if by chance Dallas does end up getting Cooper Flag, and Kyrie Irving can come back and be 80% of what he was, and they can bring back the rest of that squad, that's also going to be a pretty dangerous team in the West. I think the Lakers, they have a hell of a lot of things that they need to get done before we can even worry about that. Focus on their Sorry about that. Sorry. You know how it is. Sometimes you get some phone calls that just knocks you right off. Can you hear me now? Beautiful. There we are. All right. Yeah, man. Next year, we got to pay attention to the moves that are going to be made. Pay attention because I believe Toronto is going to make some sort of move. Not sure exactly what kind of move they're going to make, but you got to pay attention because I believe they're going to make some kind of move. We already got Ingram. We're keeping Scotty Barnes. If we could get one more decent player on that squad. And I'm willing, listen, I'm willing to trade RJ Barrett for some kind of quality player. I'm even willing to trade depending on who we're supposed to get back, I'm even willing to trade Pirtle. I don't want to lose Grady Dix. I think his upside is going to be absolutely amazing because we saw what he looked like in his second year. That was him getting a little bit more confidence underneath his belt. So that being said, that'd be absolutely amazing. I mean, he's from Toronto and all that stuff, but OKC is not letting this guy go. That's the face of their organization right now. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. Remember, OKC had a prime Kevin Durant, a prime Russell Westbrook, a prime Serge Ibaka, a prime James Harden coming off of the bench. So you know he was prime. And they couldn't win. Now they just won it with this young guy. This young guy. Who says all the right things. Who seems to go about his daily living in the right manner. You really think OKC's letting that go? No sirree, Bob. No sirree, Bob. Russell Westbrook, I think the only time they're really going to get him back is maybe on a one-day contract in order for him to retire as an OKC Thunder. Yeah, the Raptors do have a lot of young players. The Raptors, I mean, believe it or not, I believe they're always going to be a competitive team. I just don't know if we're ever going to see them that deep into the playoffs again. You feel it? All right, man. You know what? Here it is, man. From your lips to the man upstairs' ears. I'm hoping that does happen. Because I take it. I'd take it tomorrow. But I just don't see, I don't see two guys OKC, I don't see OKC giving up on, SGA and J-Dub. Those are two guys I don't see OKC. They're going to make it as difficult as hell for any other team to acquire those two cats. But OKC, if they continue doing things in the way in which they're doing it, they might just become America's team. Why? Because of the way in which they have that whole team chemistry going on. Every interview they do it as a team. People love that. People absolutely love that. With that being said, people, I'm about to get out of here. I need to get back to work, man. I thank you guys for coming and spending a little bit of time with me up here. Once again, yeah, the Raptors might get somebody else. Once again, I'd like to thank the NBA for giving me an outstanding playoff run this season. Thank you very much, man. You brought back a little bit of my love for basketball. I've started watching basketball for purely entertainment purposes. Meaning, if I happen to be home, I'll watch a game until I decide to fall asleep. But these playoffs actually had me wanting to make sure I was home on time for the start of any of those playoff games. It's been a very, very long time since I've had that kind of fire in my stomach. So thank you guys very much. Little Hoppers, I appreciate you coming up here, man. You're welcome anytime, man. Anytime whatsoever. Thank you very much. And I will be back. I'm going to see if I could probably come back up here and do another live. It probably won't be today. I might be back up here tomorrow. But now that the NBA is gone, we just got to find some other stuff to vibe about. That being said, people, I want you guys to have a blessed day. Happy Monday. Have yourself a blessed week. Deuces.